gentlemen, I'm officially double dosed up on a Saturday. Let me not show my vaccine identification.
I think it's too bright, so we didn't see anything. But congrats. You'll be fully ready for our secret vacation.
Whoa. Our upcoming
don't tell people.
Live collaboration.
I didn't say anything.
So, can one just say the 97 demo is going on tour?
Company bonding.
Company retreat, yeah.
Company
retreat somewhere.
Company bonding, just to get to know each other. This is a strictly professional relationship.
Never met in person.
Never met in person.
Again?
Exactly. We all just met over the internet, guys. So
we're just like Brockhampton, honestly.
Exactly.
Like, we met in, like,
what's so crazy?
And
we met on a Lil Uzi Vert fan.
Well, what's so crazy about Brockhampton? Most of them guys actually know each other. I was watching. He was like, actually, most of us know each other. It's like only like 2 of them that met on the internet. It was supposed to be like
initially it was a lot, but only like a few of them ended up making the final.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because he said on Reddit or something, he was like, "Hey, who want to make a group?" It was like 50 people, and he said they were all in it.
So I know. I think by the time we drop this, Mother's Day would have been yesterday. Shout out to all the moms out there, or the women working, doing their things. We see y'all. Salute.
Drake sees you too.
Drake sees you too. Exactly. Aubrey Graham has a special gift for some of y'all.
His own musk, his own odor.
Drake wants you to smell him to celebrate your motherhood.
So if you're in Los Angeles or New York, what's it on? DoorDash?
So Drake, while we're all waiting for Certified Lover Boy, which would have been great to drop on Valentine's Day or Mother's Day, what are you waiting for, Drake?
Summer. He's waiting for summer.
Are the samples not cleared? Like, what are we doing? But he dropped a scented candle line, and he told us about that before, Better World Fragrance. But now he has a promotion where on, I guess this weekend, the Mother's Day weekend, he partnered with Postmates to deliver the candles for free if you order from specific restaurants in New York City and Los Angeles. So one, he's helping these restaurants, which I'm assuming probably have gotten hit throughout the pandemic, even though all these restaurants look very upscale.
They're very upper, high-end restaurants.
Exactly.
They don't look like your average small business, but, hey.
So let's say you're in LA. Let's say you're in LA and it's Mother's Day and you want, one sushi roll from Nobu, which is probably like $60.
Oh my
god! Get a free
gosh.
candle with it.
Yeah, they come free with the minimum $50 order, so just know what you're getting into. But I mean, they look aesthetically pleasing. I'll give them that.
They do.
Go to Target.
I'm really into
go to Target.
Go
to Walmart. Go to Target.
Light by low.
Light by low.
I got light by low. Get one of them candles. They smell good too.
And they're cheap. They're cheaper. So
does Drake have a $50 for one?
What?
Does Drake have a champagne line?
Probably.
Yeah, he did. Didn't his dad and him have something?
Are we sure? Because
I don't know if it was champagne, but they had.
Like, what
I'm not sure.
Trademarking champagne poppy, if that's not the first business.
Well, they called Virginia Black. It was like whiskey or something, right?
Why I hate when I see these things and they make sense. And
yeah, he had a whiskey called Virginia Black.
Where is the champagne poppy champagne line?
The little commercial, whatever he had on his Instagram was really nice. It was really official. It was really cool. It was really fancy schmancy. Yeah, look at that scent.
A lot of people said scent.
I guess Mother's Day is past, but I'm assuming Drake is still going to be selling this. So get you a little scent, okay? Do what you got to do. With that, welcome to the 97 Demo Podcast, where we give you the latest in music news, and a whole bunch along the way. I'm Nnamdi, joined by
Noah McGee
and Avery Talal.
We have a lot to get into this week. A couple good new releases. We got a good topic for you this week. We're talking about lead singles, the power of lead singles, inspired by a new release from one of my favorites. And then we're also going to get to some cool things happening at the charts. But first, let's start with headlines. And it's the story that I love to follow up about. The guys are probably annoyed with me because I find a way to include it in our show. I've done so every week for the last.
It feels like a weekly thing. I thought we just talked about this.
But it's an evolving story, guys. We're journalists. You have to follow up. So we told you that we've been following this whole Grammys thing since last year. Last week, we told you about the decision to get rid of the secret committees. The first thing that came to my mind was, I wonder if this is going to make some artists who have criticized this and stopped submitting their music, a la Frank Ocean, The Weeknd, So we're going to come back. And we got an answer from at least one of those two people the Weeknd, who has now doubled down on this whole thing and said that he has no intention of submitting his music despite them changing this rule, and a decision that I would say was arguably for him. So I just thought that was interesting. He has a statement. Avery, if you scroll down, you can see it. He said something specific, like, I'm happy, like, shout out to all the, even though I won't be submitting my music, the Grammy's recent admission of corruption will hopefully be a positive move for the future of this plagued award and give the artist community the respect it deserves with a transparent voting process. I feel like I may have read this last week. I can't remember, so I'm just gonna pretend this is still a fresh headline, but cool. So that's the latest there with the Grammys.
I swear we did this last week. But
I know we did the committees, but I don't think we did the Weeknd response. When was the 3rd? This article came out the 3rd. When was it? That was Monday, so we didn't.
Yeah,
we didn't.
Okay. It was 5 days ago. All right.
I feel good about myself again.
Okay.
So there you have it. Artists may not come back, even though.
Do you guys really think for the rest of his career, Weeknd's never going to submit for the Grammys?
I mean, look, I think now this was his opening to sort of be like, okay, they made this change that I felt was the reason my album didn't get the love it deserved. Now that they've done that, I'll come back. And he said no. So I feel like now if he comes back again in the future, it's gonna feel more like, oh, what brought you back now?
Word. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I kind of think so. I don't know. It's tough. I don't know. It's tough to say, like, it kind of gives me like Will Smith, Jada Smith vibes and be like, we're never going to the Oscars. And it was just because Will Smith didn't get nominated. It wasn't like for the bigger.
Though, because wasn't that role not even that good? Like,
no, he was good in the role. I remember that, but I don't know. I'm not saying Weeknd's not being truthful, and he definitely was deserving of, like, being nominated more, at least. Of course he should have won, but I don't know. It's just tough. Like, for the rest of your career, of course he can, but he'll probably be fine too. But I was just wondering. I don't know. It's interesting.
Oh wow! Look at this. Look at this expanded statement. The trust has been broken for the Weeknd again. The trust has been broken for so long between the Grammy organization and artists that it would be unwise to raise a victory flag. So I guess that brings me to the better question. Do y'all think this change to this process is going to actually lead to better nominations?
I mean, I don't think there's any way of knowing. You just hope so.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I don't know. We really have to wait for long term. Like, well, we cannot submit this thing until, like, the whole structure has been completely changed with new leadership and all that. Like, that's the only way I could see him, like, coming back if, like, the whole process completely, like, started from square one.
This is the best he's getting, so he better,
I mean, for now, but I'm like, what about 15 years from now? Something crazy happens, or something is a crazy change. Like 15 years from now, something crazy could change. Grammys have changed.
Shame if he robbed himself of the opportunity to get recognition over this incident. I hope he
watch. He's gonna win one. Everyone's gonna be happy for him.
Exactly. They're gonna nominate him regardless. They're like, we're gonna nominate him. This is okay. We're gonna. I
think you have to submit to be nominated, but I'm sure in the future he will.
Well, can his label submit it for him? Like, label.
Well, he said, I'm not submitting my music. Period. So.
Doesn't he own his label?
That's what you got.
He's on EXO, but I guarantee there's a label.
It's like over. It's under something. Yeah.
There got to be a label over.
I think it's under Republic. I want to say it's under Republic.
Okay.
But okay.
Either way.
I'm there.
Way, yeah.
What do we have next? Oh, so this I thought was interesting. I don't know if y'all saw this, but I remember I think Avery had sent a tweet to us once about this book that was coming out, and we all thought it was kind of cool. It was a profile of Mac Miller, his life, the ups and downs. And I think just in our discussions, we seemed pretty eager to read it. It sounded like it was going to be a well-reported book. Most Dope, The Extraordinary Life of Mac Miller was the name, and it's from, I'm trying to find the author, Paul Cantor. Turns out Mac Miller's family isn't a fan of this book. They denounced the release of the book, and they denounced the actual book itself, saying that they told the author from day one, from jump, that they're not a fan of this, that they don't want this book to come to fruition, that they're uncomfortable with this specific person authoring the biography. In their statement, they said, despite them telling him that,
that's long.
Despite them telling him, just go up like a little city, go up like one paragraph. Their sentence was, despite them telling him that he chose to proceed against our polite insistence that he not do disservice to Malcolm's legacy through writing the book without legitimate primary sources. So I guess he didn't talk to any of the actual family. So yeah.
That's always interesting because that happens a lot more than you would think. There's always these biographies about people, famous people that aren't necessarily from the people, or they even interviewed the person. They just interviewed people that kind of knew him or something like that, and it's always a slippery slope, especially when it's posthumously released. With Mac Miller passing a couple years ago. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. I don't know. Have they read things? Did he send a copy of the book and they didn't like what some of it was in there?
I'm actually just reading the full statement for the first time. And you see here in the second paragraph, they say, we cannot help but feel the timing of this book being made available for pre-order is meant to capitalize on the interest in Don and Claire Chessman's recently announced The Book of Mac. So I guess The Book of Mac is the book that the family is supporting. And they say it here, it does have the support of the estate and includes extensive interviews with the people who Malcolm held dear. So that's the book I guess they're supporting. And they're saying this other book is just trying to capitalize off of that buzz.
That's fair.
It depends on what your goal is in reading one of these things, right? Because it's I'm sure and I'm not saying that's about Mac specifically, but in my mind, I'm thinking of the Tiger Woods documentary that came out on HBO that he wasn't involved in. And I'm sure there were a lot of details in that his family or him didn't want people to know. And so I wonder if his family being a part of it, I'm sure you get two different perspectives from both these books. So I guess it depends on your goal.
For sure. But I think it's definitely a slippery slope because he's dead now. So
oh no, I completely agree. I'm just saying I feel in this other book there might be some details that might not be confirmed, but have stories that maybe his family doesn't want.
Absolutely.
Something like that.
Absolutely, I agree with that. But I think it's fair for them to do that. They're trying to kind of protect the legacy. So
you want to be respectful of him.
Y'all remember that Aaliyah movie where the family was we don't support this? Mm-hmm. This gives me those vibes. And we saw how bad that movie turned out. So I'm just assuming. I think the one thing I'll give to the family, I think it is extremely hard to write an autobiography about someone without talking to any of the people who knew him best. Mm-hmm. So that makes me sort of side-eye this Paul Cancer book. I haven't read it, so I don't know, but I do think it would be difficult for me to take I guess what you have in this book seriously if you're just relying on secondhand accounts, maybe friends, and you don't have the support of the actual family.
Yeah,
there's elements you're then missing.
Because at least with the Tiger Woods one on HBO, they were talking to people that were close to him for a long time.
I kind of want to look up if he's written other books or something like that, what's his what's his other work, There's plenty of people that write biographies that then they talk to people they've written a lot of books.
Yeah, but his family, they're just saying this guy is just coming from nowhere. A writer that Malcolm did not know, have a relationship with. The writer had no meaningful access to those that were closest to Malcolm, friends, families, collaborators. So what do you know?
Access.
So we gotta look him up. I'll look him up. We'll look him up. So we'll see what his true intentions are.
But Don and Claire Chessman, if you want to come on the pod and talk to us about the Book of Mac, this is your formal invitation. We stand Mac on this podcast.
We do.
What do we have? What's next? Oh no, I thought this would be a U flag, but I saw this in Complex and I was like, oh, this makes sense for this week. Isaiah Rashad, who Noah stands. I think that's safe to.
I do.
Is that fair to say, Noah?
Absolutely.
What's the fan base called? The Rashads? Is there a name for you guys yet?
I don't know.
No one, the Rashads. Their guide came back this week.
The Rashads.
Basically, he did an interview with Fader magazine, and I think he was on the cover, and he just
was on the cover
where he's been the last 5 years, which is really interesting. Apparently, it was drug addiction, and he was broke. That was sort of what the last couple of years have looked like for Isaiah Rashad.
You know what's so crazy about this? This is nothing new because before the Suns tirade, he almost got dropped from TD 3 or 4 times, for real. He almost got dropped 3 or 4 times because when he was on tour, in 2014, 2015 with Schoolboy, he got hooked to Xannies, he's an alcoholic and stuff like that, and he almost got dropped. And it just feels like full circle. It's happening again.
What's that about? No, I didn't know that because you're saying that happened before. This is now saying after.
Yeah.
The Suns tirade, he was he moved all his friends to LA with him, and they were just partying, and he lost he depleted his bank accounts and got hooked again, and had to go to rehab. And I just think we were talking.
Oh, you got caught. You good?
Y'all heard that? It's that vaccine going through my veins.
That's that vaccine, exactly.
But it's just really interesting that's where he's been. And I always appreciate it when artists are honest. I took time away because I needed to get right and pull myself out of a hole.
I agree with that, but Isaiah Rashad, man, get safe. I hope you get better, bro. I'm glad the album's out, and I don't want to. enjoy his pain or anything like that, but
Did y'all just see where he was saying that the other TDE members would call him Bobby Brown because he was showing the
yes, he said he hated that. He said he
So
hated
messed
that.
up.
He was like, I hated being called Bobby Brown. That was so embarrassing. I hate that.
He
Like,
said that hurt the F out of my feelings.
See?
That is so messed up.
yeah,
But
man. So
hey, if there's anything that'll get you together, hey Bobby Brown, you gonna be sober next time? Like
Hey,
I
bro.
get it.
seriously, because this is the second time before Sun's Tirade. Remember, if y'all listen to the album, he's like, bro, where's the album? It's been like forever. Where's the album? You got this till Friday.
So
It's like,
this is like what took him so long to come up with more music.
but this is the second time too, because it happened last time too. It was like people were like, yo, where are you? And he almost got
I
dropped.
hope he found the help he needs.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
I
hopefully he
hope
doesn't
he
go
does.
through this again.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we'll talk about actually this is let's see, we can go into new releases right now. We can talk about his new release, the song he put out, "Lay With Ya," which I know. Of course, I want to get Noah's opinion, but I like that a lot. Like I listened to that. I've had that on repeat since I heard it. Like I'm a very big fan of that track.
Isaiah Rashad is the guy, bro. That is the guy. First of all, actually, go ahead, Avery. Go ahead, Avery. Go ahead.
I just thought it was cool. I didn't have any positive or negative feelings about it.
I definitely feel people saying like it's just but like
Who said that?
no, I know people. I know
Me.
Avery just said Avery just said it was
I like
You know
it
what I'm saying?
a lot. I was actually
No,
a
this is the
big
thing about
fan.
Isaiah Rashad. I'm a stand, but I honestly, I personally get if people like are just like he's not bad, it's just not because like he says it's on the Sun's Tirade. He's like, I got the music for the vibers. And he's literally like mumbling through some song. Like if you hear this song, he's like, like that's just his thing. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I just think he's super creative with it, personally. And to me, this is just like Isaiah Rashad. This feels more like mainstreamy, honestly. It feels more mainstreamy. I don't feel like he has a song kind of like this for the most part. Huh?
I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah, it feels more mainstreamy, but I still personally enjoy it because it's just like,
if this is mainstream him, I'm down with it. Like it definitely felt like a vibe. It definitely was a little bit more mumbly. You could tell it was maybe for the kids for the radio play. But I thought he did it really well. Like I think it is such a catchy vibe type of song. Like I've listened to it multiple times repeatedly.
Yeah,
I just need to listen to it more.
Yeah, for sure. At first, I was kind of like, "Oh, this is cool." You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Isaiah Rashad, he can like rap, but then he could do the really like mumbly, vibey, even almost singing type stuff. So I enjoyed it personally. Yeah.
Thing that Noah and I have two very different feelings about. Remember, we talked about the promotion of this last week about how.
Let's talk about it.
That. Who was it? Who was it in TD that did it?
It was Top Dog. It was probably the TD account, and then like Top Dog that was like.
Yeah. He had dropped the whole stay tuned,
Punch
coming, and everyone thought it was Kendrick or SZA. And when I saw that, I was like, one, it's probably not going to be Kendrick or SZA, and whoever it actually is going to have to deal with like disappointed people. And truth be told, when they finally revealed that it was Isaiah Rashad coming out, if you look under those comments, yes, you have some fans saying, "Oh hell yeah, we're waiting," but you have people saying, "Damn,
where's Kendrick?
Where's Kendrick?"
I was on the live and everybody was saying, "Whoa, where's that Kendrick? Where's that Kendrick? Where's Kendrick?"
And that's what was going to happen. That was my whole point from the start of this. That like Isaiah Rashad was missed, and the boy can rap. We wanted new music. That's safe to say. But when you have that lead up for it, you may have additional people tuning in. But most are gonna just be there to troll and say, "Oh, well, we wanted Kendrick. What's this mid?"
Well,
I don't think it was fair to Isaiah Rashad.
I feel that. My point was like, TDE, for better or worse, whenever somebody's like, say Kendrick, because a lot of their artists haven't released music in a while. Like the most latest one probably was like Sir, probably like last year or the year before that.
SZA came out with a couple songs.
I'm talking about like an album. I'm talking about like an album though. And like if TDE comes out like, hey, new music, people are gonna say Kendrick but like, I love Kendrick. I love Kendrick a lot. I really do love Kendrick. There's so many other dope artists on TDE for real. And like, I think, and I said it was like the fans' fault for thinking it was Kendrick. So it's like, there's so many other dope artists that are coming from TDE with dope music. Like if it was Ab-Soul, I'd have been excited. It's been a while since Ab-Soul. I think it's been 5 years for Ab-Soul too. If it was School, but what if it was SZA? If it was anybody, I would really been J-Rock, Sir just came out like a couple years ago, but like I genuinely would have been excited. So I think that's more the fans' fault. Personally, because TD has so many.
I feel like
I know you got to know your fan base because like but I'm saying like if somebody from a big label, like I don't know, I can't think of OVO or something like that was like, oh, new music, and it was like another artist. It's like, oh, where's Drake? It was Nav or something like that. You know, it's like there's other artists on TD. I get that point. Like, you got to know your fan base. They're gonna go crazy about Kendrick because he's the main act. He's the big act. But I definitely think we're not both wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because I think
there's something really like classic and like, I don't know, just like old school that I liked about like releasing it with like a magazine cover and a story.
Exactly.
I really enjoyed that. I wish they did that.
I
more,
like
that.
that.
Feels like very old
why
school.
Why couldn't that be like the comeback? That's my issue. Why couldn't they like post the magazine cover?
Because we're all about hype now. We're all about hype now.
And then we would be like, oh shoot, I'd like, what's going on? Like,
that's
could have built it. I just feel like
you feel like they could just drop the magazine instead of the little thing like charging up.
You need momentum going into these
different because Drake drops something every other day. So it's like when that's your biggest artist, if you're like, oh, the wait's over on OVO, I don't think anyone's gonna think you're talking about Drake. But
you need momentum going into these things.
Yeah.
Avery, what'd you say?
You need momentum going into these things, and I get it.
Yeah, I just think there could have been a better way because I just feel like I get Noah's point and I feel Noah's point, but I just can't get past the fact that like everybody in that live was saying where's Kendrick.
It's fine. It's just gonna make it more fun when Kendrick drops.
It's just gonna make it more fun when Kendrick drops, and the people who hate on his Rashad.
It's probably gonna be this year too. So.
And you know what's so crazy too? I know people are talking about TD like they don't drop their albums. I don't care what y'all say. TD has done a good job of bringing the value of the artist up very, very high. In my opinion,
they're all quality.
They're all super quality. Like seriously, is there been like a bad, like straight up just bad TD album? Like seriously. Mm-hmm. And we talk about Kendrick not dropping it forever. Isaiah Rashad. I think Isaiah Rashad has really been a while. It's been too long, 5 years. But like, it's been a while. But like, they really do bring up the value of the artist very high. So when the album comes, it's very premium, and it's like, oh my gosh, the album's out, and you're gonna wait 2 or 3 years. Enjoy this album.
I mean, two of their artists are basically at the top of their game in terms of Kendrick Lamar and SZA. Like they're at the top of their genres.
I remember exactly, and even if like the artists that are like more on like independent deals, because some are signed just to TD and not like to Interscope and stuff like that. I remember when J-Rock released his album, not his past album, but
very impressed with how they handled J-Rock's release.
I remember one time they did it. They was like, if you want the album to come out, the pre-orders have to like 5,000-10,000, and then we'll release it. Like, go support the album. I really enjoy how they do that. Let's not talk about TD. We're getting too caught up in TD and all that stuff. There was other.
I mean, I enjoy that when we do that on new releases even more.
Yeah.
But I guess now y'all know who we have to talk about.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Nnamdi. Now I went on my guy now.
The real
the news that we didn't talk about was like J. Cole announced his album officially this past week.
May 14th, is that right?
Yep.
May 14th.
A week from yesterday.
Friday. Yeah, a week from Friday. So, Friday we gotta say because yesterday.
What's called the off season? It's called the off season.
It's called the off season. The cover was dope.
It's a hard cover.
It's immediately solidified its place in like top 3 Cole covers.
And this is finishing out his series of the warm up, all that, So.
Oh yeah, he had a little list. He had a little
get that off. That was not no series. I'm not letting Cole get that off.
He's not getting away with that.
I called my first
series, kind of.
No. Jermaine, no.
No, it was just his plans. It was just his plans.
I would say I think it was just KOD. So on KOD, he had a track that was called It's Slipping My Brain. It's Slipping My Brain.
1985 Intro to the
Fall Off. So I think and then like the Fall Off. I think there was rumors that the Fall Off was going to be its own like EP type of thing, not the off season, but that never happened.
Listen to KOD this past week. It's so good.
Right.
Great.
Right.
My favorite Cole album.
But
my opinion is still to this day his most underrated. I think it'll go down as his best. Like
I don't think KOD is underrated. But last week we talked about whether he was gonna release a single before. I was like, I don't know. I think he's just gonna drop the album. And Nnamdi called it. He said he's gonna drop something, like one song, like, hey,
that Friday he's gonna drop something this week.
So
it's just crazy to me that J. Cole has come out with 2 albums while I've been in college, and I haven't gotten one like Kendrick album or Frank Ocean album. I got nothing.
Dan came out around the time KOD.
Nah, we're in college. We were in college.
Y'all were in college. I was not.
Wait, when Damn came out, you weren't in college? Mm-mm. That's so rough.
It was like the summer before I came to college, but I was not in college.
Really? KOD, you were in college because we were juniors. Yeah. Me and Nnamdi were juniors. So
but didn't KOD? I thought KOD and Damn came out the same year.
No, I remember when Damn came out.
KOD came out. KOD came out 4/20, 2018. Yeah, Damn came out 2017, and Avery wasn't in college. But interlude. Let's talk about this.
So so here's my thing. I remember
I saw some people hating.
Yeah, me too.
Well, because here's the thing. We also talked about this last week, and Noah was like, when we kind of previewed the lead single discussion, and Noah was like, oh, what if that 2-pack he dropped were the singles? And it was like the Lion King on Ice and
the Climb Back.
The Climb Back. Yeah.
And I was like, nah, Cole's not gonna do that because those are like almost a year old. Cole's gonna give him some new heat. He's gonna give him some new heat to handle, you know. And instead he dropped Interlude, which not only makes me think that, wow, those may actually have been the lead singles from a year ago, but like,
this feels like the calm. This feels like the calm before the storm. Like this feels like
that
setting y'all up.
I'm hoping that's what this is, right?
It's a warm up.
Like I don't think J. Cole is meta enough to have a lead single and call it Interlude. I think this really is just the interlude of the album.
Probably.
Right? And in that case, I think that's fine. Like it's a good interlude. He has bars for days. But I think I just wanted a lead single from J. Cole. I wanted a lead single for him to come in hot. He just gave me this album cover of a freaking basketball rim on fire. So I wanted you to come out with something hot. Something
like
that reminded the of who Jermaine Cole is. Tell him the real is back, the bill is back.
Gosh.
I wanted us all to feel that heat and energy. I think that's
Mr.
what
Nice?
we needed. And
Mr. Nice Watch?
He gave
Young
us
Simba?
Interlude. With an
Jermaine.
Great as rapping
Jermaine
is,
Cole.
Interlude, as great as the rapping is, it sounds like a J. Cole song. It just sounds like a J. Cole song.
Oh,
you know,
man.
it's not like there's not. It's not
I feel
like
we switched.
I'm a stan, so that's cool for me. But for the streets, it's like this is a J. Cole.
Hold on. Okay, let me defend J. Cole here because I'm a
fan.
fan.
It sounds like Nnamdi and I flip scripts today.
Nah, flip scripts over here. Let's be frank. Since Born Center, which he always talks about the way that not Born Center, since after like his first album with the single with Workout, he always talks about how he hated that single, how that whole thing came about.
Nas down.
Wait, Whole World.
I'm talking about Workout. Remember I like that song. I was just listening to it. Yeah, but he always talks about his debut album. He always talks about like he hates the way that worked out, how that was the lead single, and then he remember he came out Let Nas Down. And since then, he's had singles, but like he's always kind of talked about like, I'm not gonna do it just the normal way. Like Forest Hills Drive, I know he has singles, but he kind of just dropped it. It wasn't like, hey, normally he kind of just dropped it. KLD, he had singles kind of, but like it was like it just like, and even though the album before that.
With that though, he just didn't want a radio hit anymore.
But I'm saying
how he cheaped himself by doing a pop radio hit.
No, I'm saying I know that, but J. Cole, I don't think he cares about the single thing, like what you're saying, like the lead single. I don't think he cares about that personally. He probably did interlude because he's like, y'all want to think I'm gonna give y'all the interlude. That's so J. Cole to me. That's so J. Cole to me personally. And people didn't like. I heard somebody say they didn't like the auto tune on it, the auto tune voice thing he was doing. I thought it was fine.
I thought it was cool.
It's an interlude, so people over here judging.
I hope that's not the album. I hope he's not trying to be like T-Pain, but like it was cool.
If the whole album he tried to be T-Pain, you gonna get Smooth Lil 5 over here, J. Cole. Smooth Lil 5.
Ask me again how I feel about it next week when they're the actual album, because
I enjoyed it.
I think this is gonna be a song that I think gets better on the album.
I agree.
I think it is, but it's just like, why couldn't you just give me a lead single?
That's all that matters. The context.
You're getting the whole album in 6 days, so
in 6 days. Let's be patient.
We're not gonna be able to talk to you next weekend.
Patience. Okay. Let's get.
If it's an album full of interludes, you are gonna be able to talk to me.
It's not gonna be an album full of interludes.
Let's talk about some more new releases. Okay. I want to talk about this first. Czarface and MF Doom. MF Doom's first posthumously released album since his death. That happened on Halloween, but it got announced on New Year's Eve.
Why didn't we review this? This would have been a good.
How was it?
I haven't listened to it yet, but Czarface and MF Doom. This is crap. I don't know who's on Inspector Deck from Wu-Tang Clan, and I forgot the other guys in the group in Czarface. They've been out for a while. They've been doing it forever. They have another MF Doom album, but this is their second one, and this is his first posthumous release, so I'm definitely gonna listen to that. What's another big league single? Oh, Sweetie. Fast Motion. Did y'all listen to that? I listened
to it.
No.
I think Sweetie needs some help figuring out what her direction is, because she's just all over the place.
You know, honestly, I'm gonna disagree with you. I think Sweetie has a place. It's just not for me. I think she has like a lane. It's just not for me.
She's like a less good Doja Cat.
Damn, that's kind of harsh. But as someone who is open to Sweetie and her style of rap, I just don't think she has a lane yet. Like Fast Motion, I don't know. Like if I take all her singles and imagine them on an album, that would be the most disjointed album ever. Like that's what I'm saying.
Well,
like,
I think that's the Sweetie is. Like she has a bunch of album full of singles.
I think she needs to just figure out her direction. I think she's still trying to find what works. I don't think her direction is everything. I think it's just I just think she needs to figure out what Sweetie's trying to do and like and keep with that.
I don't know. I kind of disagree, but it's okay, Sweetie. I'm not a big fan anyway. But
no one's gonna set me up for this Weezer album. No one. I mean, I'm just a little disappointed.
Oh, I was gonna
for weeks.
I was gonna leave that last, but I was gonna say this Coldplay. I was gonna say.
Well, not wait. We doing. Avery wants to do Weezer, so we do.
Okay, Weezer.
Weezer rock. They did their thing. They said, "Hey, Van Halen, we got one better. Van Weezer in this." And Avery Laws and tell us how it was.
Oh, did you listen, Avery?
I don't know how I feel about it yet, honestly.
Oh, Avery never knows how he feels about Weezer. He really doesn't.
I could hate it tomorrow. Who knows?
But he could hate it tomorrow. A year from now, he's like, "Oh my God, this album's incredible."
To me, like my first impression, and this would be nothing to you guys, but to me, it sounds like a good mix between like Ratitude and the White Album.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah, you guys, totally.
I like how Nnamdi said, "Oh yeah," seamlessly, like he knew exactly what it felt. He said, "Oh yeah."
So, you don't know how expansive my music repertoire.
Okay, it's not that expensive.
Go on, Avery.
It's some interesting stuff. Okay, so their last album, which was like their pandemic album that they released a few months ago,
that was good.
It was really good. It had no guitars
that.
on it, and this one's just like guitar heavy, and it's really interesting. They also sample Crazy Train, which is like insane. So I guess check that not next week, but in 2 weeks, and
2 weeks.
I'll have a better formed opinion on it. But,
Who did new releases? Was this Avery or Noah? Who did this list?
That was me and Avery. Yeah.
Why y'all put Sweetie but y'all didn't put Cash Doll song on here?
Oh, Cash Doll? I didn't know she was on here. I didn't know she released.
Like, nah, funny. I saw Cash Doll.
Sorry, Cash Doll. We were sorry. We did not mean to do that. Coldplay released a new single too, Higher Power. Sounds like Coldplay. I don't know what to tell you. Like it just sounds like a Coldplay song. It's just solid. You know,
it's like new Coldplay, like poppy. And
I mean, it kind of sounds like they released a song like 30 times. Not gonna lie. This Higher Power.
I feel like they have like a billion times, like in the past 5 years.
Yeah, the past 5 years they released the same single, 30 times, but it's okay. But released its lead singles.
Coldplay is the one that did the Super Bowl, right?
Well, they got outshined by Beyonce and Bruno Mars.
At their own show.
Which was incredible. They were incredible, but
Noah, you want to know? Let me tell you a good analogy. I'm piecing it together right now. Imagine if like the Super Bowl were like we're giving you a Beyonce and Bruno Mars show, and then Coldplay walked out, and the fans are just supposed to be cool with it. That's how I feel about TDE gassing up. Guess who's coming? And it being Isaiah Rashad.
When you put it that way, it has to be the other way around.
Okay. I knew the analogy needed some work.
That's kind of funny.
I felt like the bones of it were there.
I don't know, because because the Super Bowl, they can get any artist ever. You know what I'm saying? To do the Super Bowl.
Not recently.
Yeah, that's true. But TDE is like there's people in there. Who's in it. But okay, I got you. But whatever.
That was the last time they were able to get anybody.
Okay.
Talk about it.
Any other tracks you want to highlight? I see how someone put On Gang Chief Keef. Did anyone listen to that?
I did.
How was it?
It was Chief Keef, man. 300.
More. You need to give me more.
I mean, it was really just Chief Keef, like just doing Chief Keef, like bang, bang, bang. So like a lot of bang gang rhymes. You know what I'm saying? So it was just Chief
What
Keef.
you need, Don Tolliver?
Didn't listen to that.
Avery,
Houston, Texas, right? Houston.
He is from Texas.
Yeah, people love him.
Listen to this Charlie XCX track.
I did. It was pretty interesting. I mean, it sounds like her, like hyper pop thing that she's kind of been on recently. So it's pretty cool. It's good. It's
Avery
loud.
stands.
XCXoplex. That's how you say that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Does she say that word in the song?
I do not believe so. It's very loud. It's a loud song. It's a very loud song.
Oh, kind of like her album, right?
Yeah, kind of like her album. So.
Got you.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and foray into our main topic this week. So the interlude by J. Cole, if that's his lead single, inspired a discussion, I guess, about the importance of lead singles, which I have been on.
It gave us a reason to talk about this.
Yeah, Nnamdi's wanted to talk about this
because I've been and y'all two have given me some Nnamdi, you overthink this. I have maintained for like months, honestly years maybe, that a lead single is the most important track on an entire album. It sets the stage for the album, it builds momentum, and with that in mind, there's so much decision making and thinking that goes into what you pick as your lead single. I don't think any artist, including J. Cole, who may act like, oh, I don't care, this says I'm just gonna drop this song, whatever, I don't care. Every single artist thinks of their lead single and gives so much thought to their lead single because it sets the stage for an entire album. And one poor lead single selection can throw off your entire, the rest of your album. It really can. That's how important it is. So we actually, I feel a good way to get into this. We talked to Barty Strange, alternative rock king, Black excellence in the game, doing his thing. The last time we interviewed him back in January, I want to say.
January.
We talked to him and I asked him, I said, hey, Barty's, my friends make fun of me about this, but what kind of decision-making goes into picking a lead single? And here's what he said. Take a listen.
I'm sort of curious. My friends always make fun of me because I'm always really into the, what songs artists release before an album and like the thinking that goes into this is going to be first. And they all think like, oh, Nnamdi, get up. Like they all make fun of me, but I always think like there's a ton of like decision making that probably goes into that. For Live Forever in particular, you put out Mustang first. Why was that sort of the right introduction to the album?
Because I thought Mustang was the quickest song. Like it was just like, it's a song, like boom, welcome. It was familiar. Like, people would hear it and I think they would know like, okay, this is like an indie rock banger. Like this is that. It's like easily identifiable and fast and loud and surprise, like it was like element of surprise. That's what we were going for with that one. And yeah, I don't know. I thought it was the easiest song to like.
Okay, so that's what he said. And as you heard him say it first, he chose it because it was like, it just was that song. It's like, boom, you heard this, you know what the album's gonna be, you know what to expect, you're lit, you're hype. And that was a perfect example to me of like the kind of thing that goes into it. You really have to give a lot of thought into what your lead single is. It sets up your entire album. So I wanted to talk about the power of a lead single and talk about the artists who have done a good job and artists who have kind of fumbled the bag and maybe fixed it later with a better single, but really to sort of miss their beat by not having the lead single they needed to. If you have any examples that we don't name, please tweet us at the 97 Demo and let us know. But here's just a few that we've thought of. So I guess we're talking about the intro to the song. If this winds up being the actual lead single from this album, what would you all's reaction be?
It depends. I think it just depends on what the vibe of the album is. I don't know yet. I like the song, but I don't know yet. One of the songs I have for like my least favorite lead singles, I like the song and I think it ended up being the worst song in the album. So I don't know.
Wait, is that an example of a good lead single? Wait, well let's do this. Here's where we're gonna start. Why don't y'all talk to me about what you think makes a good lead single? Like, talk to me about what goes through your mind or what you want to look for when you're thinking about the first thing you hear from an album.
When there's a lead single coming out for artists, like, hey guys, first song for my new album, essentially, what I'm looking for is definitely the direction they're going for. You know what I'm saying? Definitely the direction they're going for. Like I remember now, just on J. Cole with KOD, the lead single for KOD was KOD. And it was kind of simple if you just go for the track name, the album, the name of the album as the track, as its lead single, that kind of catches the essence of the album, or something that kind of, or a song that kind of gets, the way you're going to, like if you're going to experimental route, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me give y'all one. Kendrick Lamar,
Ooh,
to Pimp a Butterfly.
That
one was a really, I want to say controversial, but not really what people expected. But when you heard it in the context of the album, it really fits into where he was going. Because if Kendrick Lamar released, let me think of one from To Pimp a Butterfly. What's the one where crap, guys, hold on, give me a second.
With Kendrick kind of got bullied into putting a grimier version of it onto the album.
Yeah. Okay, what if he released Hood Politics as a lead single? Right. Great song, amazing song, but it really doesn't. Even though it fits into the album when you listen to it, it doesn't really fit the whole essence of the album. You know what I'm saying?
What can I get?
Let me finish. I was saying I kind of fits the essence of what it is. And even though people might not like it as like the most popular, it really does capture the essence of the album and kind of introduction to what was when you were listening to the
I don't even know if I'd say it does that, to be honest with you. At least the original I. If you when the original I came out, and like Avery said, you have to do the grimier one on the album, but
the live
that was like a pop rap song. And my thought for why he chose it is my thought for why a lot of rappers go that route with their lead singles, because your label wants you to choose a lead single that will be commercially successful, that you get radio play. And the original version of I was a radio friendly song. It was rap, but it was a very catchy, melodic, feel good-ish type of track. And I think that was sort of the decision behind, okay, this album may be a little bit more serious with its themes, but let's put this out first because it does, like Noah says, thematically align with the album. And it just sounds a little bit more radio friendly, which is why he got so bullied for it, because everyone was like, why is Kendrick trying to do this? Like, what is this song? That grimier version on the album itself. So to me, that sort of is what went into that decision, just in my opinion. And I think it's two different versions.
I don't want to stay on that. I feel that, but I kind of disagree with that because, for the mainstream, that was such a new sound he was doing. And he was, I think people were like, wow. Because remember, Good Kid, Mad City, that was the one where he was getting into his radio bag with like Poetic Justice and like Backseat Freestyle and Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. Those were like, those are
going to want you to keep on doing that.
Yeah, exactly. But I doesn't fit into the same lane as like a Loyalty even he did. Remember? Like
no, the original I is a radio song. That is a radio.
I know, but oh my God. Of course it's a radio song now, but I'm saying I remember when that came out, people were not feeling it as a radio song. They was like, oh my God, this song's not gonna be popping. That's what I remember. It became that because Kendrick and the album was incredible. But personally, that's like All Right's more of a radio song than I just didn't get the same vibe because it doesn't have like
on Top 40 radio, they were gonna play I first before they played All Right. I think that Avery brought up a good point with when he said Kendrick was sort of bullied into doing the new version for the actual album that was a little bit more street and a little bit more like black.
It was live. It was a live performance.
It was like a live performance that he leaded to that for the actual album track. Because I remember a lot of the criticism when the actual lead single came out, it was like, what is this? Like, what is this like super radio, almost pop-esque rap song or direction that Kendrick seems to be going in? And I think that's why he didn't put that version. Like, I think that's why he quickly distanced himself away from that version.
I personally have not listened to that version of it ever again. If I listen to that song, it's going to be the one on the album.
Yeah, and a lot of people feel that way. A lot of his fans feel that way. But I will say, I'm sure like that, the actual song did. Like, I wonder how I itself did.
I kind of disagree, but okay, it's fine.
What do you disagree?
We can disagree.
It's fine to disagree. We don't got to stay on it, but I just personally disagree on that. But yeah, but nonetheless, it definitely thematically fit into the album. Whether even though it was done, sonically it was different. Thematically, it definitely fit into the album for sure. Is what I would say. So yeah. So that's an example for me that was like, although it might not have been received first off, like, oh my gosh, this is it. This Kendrick's coming with the new album. It was a lot of hype behind it, but definitely it fit thematically for the album, which is kind of two different goals. Sometimes the goal of a lead single is to be, we got to get the most popular song to get the hype so it can go as high as it can on the charts. You know what I'm saying? And then there's also the lead single, which also works for like if it's thematically or what the sound is sonically. You know what I'm saying? So. What about you guys? What do you think is a good lead single? I mean, not what makes a good lead single?
I think I don't know. I think like you touched on everything. It just needs to I think it needs to be representative of what the album sounds like, and also thematically and like contextually fit in. That's why this one that I have, I don't think it fits into the album at all, even though I liked it.
What is it?
It's one of my least favorites. Butterfly Effect from Travis Scott off of Astroworld. I thought that was the worst song in the album. And I don't think it necessarily fits with the rest of the album. And I really like Astroworld. I know like not everyone here is like as high as I am on it, but I don't think that song was at the end of the day like that good. I think it was very clearly supposed to be for the radio, something that people like, and it just didn't. There were songs on that album that did it way better, as we saw after it came out.
I like that. I like that take.
I agree.
I like that. I remember Butterfly Effect came out way before the album too, like a year before the album, way before the album. And it came out, I was like, oh, it did really stick out in terms of the album. Like it didn't sonically flow when you got to that song on the track. Yeah. I like that pick. That's a good one.
So I feel like lead singles, the purpose of a lead single changes the more established you are as an artist. But I think when you are a newer artist or you're trying to maintain your fame, the goal of a lead single is typically to catch people's attention. And
I have one that does that too.
And I think that's the main goal. I think it's to catch people's attention, get radio airplay, and chart well.
Can I give a great example of that?
What'd you say?
Can I give you a great example of that, which is in one of my like top ones?
Go for it.
The album's not out yet, but Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo.
Oh yeah.
Okay. That is a good example of that.
Even though, like, I know it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I would argue that even like that's a good example, and I think Cardi B's done a good example of that. Whether it's WAP or Up, both of those are gonna be a good lead for the album. But I think that's the goal. It's like get people hype about it, chart really well, get radio play, and hope that radio play popularity extends long enough for you to finish your album and release it.
Yeah.
So
those are like smash hits, like huge.
Yeah, exactly. I think when you get more established and you don't have to care about charts anymore, you don't have to care about promotion, like, you know, your I think your Jay-Z's, your Kanye West, arguably
J. Cole.
Your Beyonce.
J. Cole.
I would argue that J. Cole and Kendrick just now are there. When Kendrick released To Pimp a Butterfly, he wasn't there yet. He wasn't. That's why I had to take that was why he released that version of because he wasn't there yet at the time. Now, of course, he is. But, you know, when you get to the later end of your career, you can start doing, okay, let me think creatively and maybe more thematic. What do I want this to really stand for? Beyonce is there now. I don't think Beyonce gives two flying Fs about how her lead singles do anymore.
Flying Fs.
You know, but when you're not there, you do have to care. So like some examples I have of each of that is I think, let me do Good. I'll do Good first. I think you can pick any Kanye West album and like even take his first one, College Dropout, Through the Wire.
Yeah.
He just got into a car accident and he thought his career was going to be over and he put out Through the Wire. A Shaka Khan sample. Remember, in early 2000s, that was the wave. It was that was
him. That's what he did.
That was him. And that set up a good precedent for what his album was going to be.
Absolutely.
It was a produced song. He was known as a producer at the time. Like, you know, that's a perfect example of a lead single to me. More recently, I said Beyonce, back when Beyonce did have to care about charts and she released I Am Sasha Fierce. And I don't know if y'all remember, she did that double thing.
Yeah.
And on the same day, dropped If I Were a Boy and Single Ladies on the same day. The world changed that day.
The biggest songs ever.
Yeah.
Especially Single Ladies, that music video. That's incredible. Yeah.
So that's how I feel. But I also think like, to get to the other, that like a bad example of this, and I have a perfect bad example of like a lead single and how important a lead single can be. Nicki Minaj. When she first came out, people don't remember this. When Nicki Minaj first put out her first ever official official debut single, like assigned to Young Money, No More mixtapes. Does anyone remember what that song was?
The only one I can think of, I'm probably wrong, but only one I think about is Moment for Life. That's what I thought the lead single was for her first album.
It wasn't.
Starship?
It was a wrong album, but no, it wasn't that either. It was a song called Massive Attack, which was like universally panned. She dropped a music video. It was like her shaking ass in a desert. Amber Rose was there. It was like it was just a mess. It was a universally panned album. And this was supposed to be the lead single of Pink Friday. And it was just, no one liked it. It didn't chart well. It didn't do well. It was like this. It was just a bad song. Had that been the end of that, and had that been like the official lead, and she kept that energy and kept it pushing, Nicki Minaj may not be the Nicki Minaj we know today. But instead, what her label did is they erased that song from all of our psyche. They pulled it off radio. They didn't put it on the album. There's still a music video out, but they don't want you to know that you can go on YouTube and search the Nicki Minaj Massive Attack video. They don't want you to remember there's a music video out.
Wait, the album
literally scrubbed this from everyone's brain, and then a couple weeks later it came out with Your Love.
That's what I was gonna say.
Let me tell you one time, you're the realest. That song, which my middle school ears haven't forgot, they pushed that out as a lead single, and that did super duper well. And
I did not know that
and
at
then it was super bass. And that gave us the Nicki Minaj we know today. So literally,
crazy.
had she kept that original single, her career, she may have fumbled the bag. And that's a perfect example of how serious a lead single is.
Nnamdi, I was halfway like, wait, Your Love was the first, and then I read Massive Attack, and it was like, yeah, they scrapped it, mixed reviews, nobody liked it. It's not on the album at all. I can't find this song.
They wanted us to like literally, they didn't want anyone to remember. But that's like just how important a lead single can be, especially when you're a new artist.
Wow. You know what's so crazy? I feel like they could. Do you think they could get away with that now? You think now if somebody describes it and people have downloaded it already, streaming and everything, and like can people just get away with that now? Like just scrub it off YouTube?
So, because I think it almost would be easier these days, because now it's commonplace for an artist to put out like 4 singles before an album come out that aren't on the album. And they say, oh, these are just Lucy's I wanted to just put out. You know, that's common now. Then it was like, oh, it's gonna be on the album, blah, blah, blah. But like, you know what I mean?
I got you.
I mean, Corday just
you know what?
That, right?
Let me kind of put something, because I feel like there's also a middle ground where like the lead singles like really meant, like you're like, oh my gosh. Because you know, sometimes you hear a singer, like, dang, this is what I wanted. And then you hear it on the album, you're like, wow, the single's fine. I get it. I get why they picked it. But this is the one they could have picked. There was better options. And I'm going to give one that's on the topic of J. Cole. It's a J. Cole one. It's still a good. Hold on. First of all, this is one of my favorite J. Cole albums, maybe my favorite. It's a big song. It's a good radio song. Power Trip, J. Cole.
Take that back.
Hold on. Power Trip is a very, very good song. Very, very good song. Very good single. Very good single. But kind of like we talked about with Butterfly Effect, it kind of doesn't flow through the album. I feel like there was some better options, like, who put on Butterfly Effect? Exactly. But there was some better options, kind of like the song, you know, the title track, Born Sinner. There was On My Way,
yeah,
Crooked Smile. Now,
that's a great song.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like while Power Trip is a fine song, not a bad lead single. It's like a really in the middle, because like, wow, not a bad lead single. There's some more memorable songs from that album when you think, wow, what was the single? If they put Born Sinner or Crooked Smile, especially because that TLC on there, I remember that.
Yeah.
TLC and TLC wasn't on the same. They were actually on it. Yeah. They were featured. Yeah. So like, I feel like that was the one where they could have switched up the order a little bit.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
I actually can give you that. I can give you that, because
if we're gonna say that, like, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if we're gonna say for like newer artists and like people who aren't like that established yet, like I think Crooked Smile would have been like the right pick.
Yeah, it was just
like
J. Cole's second album,
hit, right? No, J. Cole wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going by that standard I just established for like an artist that's still trying to, get there, like Crooked Smile would have been the better choice. Power Trip I think was good, but I think he probably didn't do Crooked Smile first because he still regretted doing Workout first, and he didn't want to lead with another like.
I don't know, man. Workout's about him talking about a girl. Crooked Smile's about him talking about growing up with a crooked smile, like be happy with who you are. It was more like, and Born Center was more like, you know, like really uplifting, like, oh, born. You know, I feel like that could have fit them. And you know what? Also, because Power Trip, I feel like could have been a single where like people are like, wow, this one's a banger, and then they release this, kind of like how Doja Cat should have done with the song with not Doja Cat, Ariana Grande should have done with the song with Doja Cat. What's it called?
Motive, and we're gonna get it.
We're gonna get there. That one should have been released as, that's the one people listen to. Is like, whoa, Motive is it, and then they release it as a single. That's what Power Trip should kind of been, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
So I will say there is a step they do. There is promotional singles, which happens. I didn't want to like not skip over that. There are some artists who will put out promotional singles before they drop their actual lead single, but I see that in pop more often. I can't think of a rapper who's done it immediately. I don't, and normally they will tell you, like, if you go on and look, it'll say like promotional singles for X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. So that was random. I don't know why I brought it up, but I kind of want to, let's get into positions, because we disagree on this.
Yeah.
I said from day one when we did our review that I didn't like Positions as a lead single. I got why she did it. The album was called Position. She did the same thing with Thank You Next. Ariana, she did the same thing with Dangerous Woman. That's sort of her thing. She puts out an album. Typically, if there's a single with that name, that will be the lead.
Yeah.
I think she's done that for all of them except Sweetener. Sweetener wasn't a lead. But Positions just felt so generic pop to me. I know, like, and I've warmed up to it, right? But if Ariana Grande came out swinging with Motive, you're not telling me that would not have gone to number one. You're just not telling me that wouldn't have gone straight to number one. Like, look at me in my eyes and tell me Motive would not have gone straight.
I agree, because Doja Cat was hot. She just had her song with Say So. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like a perfect storm for her to do that. Or
it's like different enough for it to be like noteworthy. It's such a good song to me, you know?
It is.
Yeah, I feel you, because Position still is, I know you're talking about like we're getting really picky about it, but even though Positions is not a bad one, but I feel like even like 34 plus 35, that could have been a better one too, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of the play on the positions anyway.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good, how we feel about it as like, critically, like how we feel about it, but it's still a solid pop song, you know what I'm saying? Catchy, You know what I'm saying? It's kind of cute, even though, you know, Ariana Grande is trying to be grown. That's still cute because it's just like Ariana Grande, who's like a little girl. You know,
I'm more like biased, I guess, because like I Positions was one of my favorite songs on the album. I still love the opening like string intro. The music video is awesome.
Oh yeah,
and like the timing of it with the presidential race, like it was so perfect. So
I think this is just us being like
single, but
I agree with you, Avery. I agree with you. I feel like Motive should have been released as a single, but I feel like you should have let the fans listen to it and be like, yo, everybody's telling you this is the single. This is it.
Well, here's what I'll say though, and here's another thing I'll say about a lead single that I found in my analysis of lead singles. And I'm not, that sounds like I'm joking, but I'm so serious.
He's not joking. He's being dead.
He's dead.
Artists also, with the exception of rappers, most singers do not like releasing lead singles that have a feature on it because it takes the sign off of you.
I have a good one.
Okay.
With a feature.
Talk about it.
Lemon by Nerd with Rihanna.
Ooh.
Oh, they didn't have a choice.
That's
Rihanna.
Killer.
Rihanna was in the hiatus at that point. You can't have that song and not make it the lead. Same thing with Love Party Next Door.
Killer lead single.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That is a great one.
That album because of Lemon. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Lemon's amazing. Well, you know how good Lemon is? That the Drake remix didn't even make it better.
Well, you know what's
so good by itself.
Yeah, the original was so crazy, and you know what's so crazy? That song had a moment because remember the All-Star game? They were them dances was kind of risque. It was great.
It's still one of the most like infectious songs I think to listen to.
I agree.
That was a very good,
really good, solid one. I
like
video. That. Yeah, kind of speaking of, this is not a single, this is not a group. And I don't know if this one, I consider this one bad or good. I just kind of want to hear your thoughts on it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a popular one. This is a popular album it's coming from. Black Panther album, the album.
Mm-hmm.
The lead single was All the Stars.
Ooh, that's a good one.
All the Stars. Great lead single. Great single, personally. Just great single.
Not the best song, though.
But would a song like... King's Dead been the best
King's
lead
Dead
single?
Incredible.
You know what I'm saying? Or like X or something like that. Or 10.
Those all ended up being singles, right?
Yeah, exactly. But All Stars was the lead single.
So I'm going to say
was on J-Rock's album.
Perfect because for some reason it was released, I think, while Black Panther was still like in theater. That felt like the right song at that specific moment. SZA was super hot, Kendrick was super hot, Black Panther happened, and like
it was released before Black Panther came out.
Yeah, it was released.
Well, I'm like keeping the point.
But like a month before, though. Yeah.
It felt like the right song, I think, in my opinion, at that moment. And I remember after that, they did "Pray for Me" a couple of weeks after.
It was,
it
was.
"Pray for Me" was the only song
felt right.
That was like in the movie.
Exactly. No, All the Stars was at the end. Remember at the end with the credits came. Yeah. And King's Dead,
and as like part of this, like the scene.
And King's Dead ended up being on J-Rock's album for his single, which was interesting.
Didn't they have Ops in a scene, like in some racing scene?
Yeah, Ops was in the scene too. It was in the scene with the car scene. Yeah. But yeah, that was when I was like interested. I was like, I don't know, but King's Dead ended up being on J-Rock side. I guess the only other option would Pray for Me, which you can kind of take your pick. But I think All the Stars is better than Pray for Me personally.
Pray for Me is cool, but All the Stars is very good.
We're not ending yet, but I want y'all to start thinking. The next phase of this conversation, I want us to each come with one artist that we think has just nailed lead singles every single time. So start ruminating that in your brain. Before we get there, I have another album that I think was already people already hated it, but I think was a good example of a bad lead single.
Oh, wow.
And it's Raps, I Feel Good. So everyone already hated Revival by Eminem.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Horrible. Walk on Water.
Don't do it.
Single helped everyone hate that decision because Beyonce being on that didn't help.
So bad.
It didn't help.
That was so bad.
And I just think, it's one thing when it's a bad album and we accept it, but that was just a bad song. And Beyonce didn't, it sounded like a lecture, but Beyonce was saying, I am just human. Like, I don't know what she wanted.
She didn't help either.
And they had that Ed Sheeran song. And I'm like, if you have an album that may not be good, just go straight pop. And that's what they ended up doing, because they ended up releasing the Ed Sheeran song that did well. But
well, you know what's so crazy? I think that album has a totally different problem because, we're talking about albums usually that have bad lead singles because thing is like, oh man, they have other great songs. Mm-hmm. Revival didn't have a lot of great options.
I could have picked 3 songs would have been better lead singles.
They had a bunch of options, but none of them were good.
Yeah, exactly.
3 songs that would have been better lead singles in my opinion.
Yeah, but none of the songs are honestly really good, bro. Like, honestly, whatever you would have done, I feel like you would have got like some crap for it because that's what we're mad at Eminem for going too pop. For going too pop, even though his pop fans are gonna love it, but like I don't know, it's a slippery slope with Eminem because like he's in such a realm of like hardcore hip hop fans love him and they respect him, and then like the pop fans are in love with Eminem. Like there's a famous line, white people are like, I don't like rap, but I like Eminem. But yeah, so
and I do, and then I have 2 more hot takes. I don't think this is a hot take. Good Kid, Mad City. The Recipe was the lead single on that album.
It was.
Was it?
Yeah.
That was not a good lead single.
What's the recipe? Hold on, let me confirm that on my Wikipedia.
It's with Dr. Dre, right?
On my Wikipedias.
That's the one with Dr. Dre, right?
Yeah, it was. And
I like that song a lot.
After that, he released Swimming Pools, which then was like but like the Recipe for selection.
Wait, I'm confused. Wait a second. Because it says the recipe, but the recipe's only on the deluxe edition.
I think they tried that. I think they pulled a Massive Attack. Like, I think that's what that was.
The Recipe's a good song, too.
The Recipe's a good song. And Dr. Dre was like the guy, he's one that kind of, he didn't discover Kendrick, but he's the one that kind of got him popping. Interesting. Because Swimming Pools is like the single off the album. Like that's one that they should.
Massive Attack. I'm telling you, they pulled a Massive Attack and rerouted their decision.
Yeah. Because City. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's fair because that song does not fit in the actual, like, because that album especially is like a, a thematic storytelling album. And it's on the deluxe, and I still like that song, but that's a good one. Good call. I really do like that.
That may be a hot take.
Okay.
Recent from one of my favorite albums in 2020.
Oh, whoa.
Heartless by the Weeknd on After Hours. I don't think that was the right choice for lead single. It went to number 1. Do not think it was the right choice.
Should have been Blinding Lights.
It should have been Blinding Lights.
He should have just came out the gate.
I feel like the team over they were overthinking. They were like, oh man, we can't do Blinding Lights.
The narrative with my heart being
gone. Exactly. They should have just said Blinding Lights. It's it. We know. Yeah. Good point. Good one.
That's it, right. I'm feeling good.
We're feeling good. Now I'm gonna get another one that this one is actually. I think people have better memories of this song than it actually is, even though I still enjoy it, but it should not have been the best lead single. Drake, Marvin's Room, Take Care.
I agree.
That song has become, even though I still enjoy the song before it, it's become more of a meme than like people like actually like it. You know what I'm saying? Of like whenever people are sad, unfortunately, but it has become more of a meme.
And you're right. And I'm so in between on Marvin's Room. Let me tell you why.
Go ahead.
Marvin's Room, the song, when it came out, was a moment.
Oh my God.
I don't forget that. Everybody remixed it. Like it with that, he dropped, I believe, the album cover and then dropped Marvin's Room. So like when you hear Marvin's Room, you look at that album cover, it just makes sense.
It makes sense.
It's so good.
Thinking. And then it sort of does set the tone for the album pretty well because it was his first like straight up R&B sort of like Loverboy Drake album.
Going there,
And Marvin's Room was a great sort of indication of that.
And he rapped on the second half.
But exactly. But on my other side, there were better choices. He could have just come out with Take Care.
Oh, what if? Hold on, I got a better one. What if he just did headlines? Just open. Well, actually, Take Care, because you're right. He was going for the R&B, rappy, whatever Drake
Marvin's
does.
Room opened the door for Drake to be the sensitive rapper. Remember all the memes that came out about
That's what I'm saying.
He was the sensitive guy.
And remember, Drake got trolled for that before people like started respecting it.
He was the rapper that respected you and cared about you.
Yeah, cared.
It was funny.
Everyone called Drake weak. Like
he's gonna save the girl from the strip club. You know what I'm saying? He's saving women over here. That's Drake's
what Marvin's Room created.
That's true. And but now it's still a good song. It had great memories with it, but now for better or worse, it's kind of a meme. It's just fine. With Drake doesn't care.
You know who hates that song? Anthony Fantano hates that song.
Oh man. Fantano a hater.
This is like his worst song.
Fantano a hater. But he had a lot of options off there. He could have done the whole dang album, but like Headlines was a great option. Make Me Proud with Nicki Minaj. The Motto. Take Care. Hell yeah, Effing Right.
Yeah, you're right. No, he did have a lot of options.
So, and it ended up working for him. So I can't get mad about. I'm mad about that. Now I kind of want to get some more positive. Where do you guys feel like, man, they hit the nail right on the head?
Well, do we want to do what I just said? Do you want to just name different artists, or are we doing what I said? Where it was like a song coming.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, we don't have to. I'm just saying. Do we? Because I still have more examples. We get like one-offs, or do we want to just see who we think has been like the greatest?
Okay.
Nailing it consistently.
Okay, go ahead. We can do that. I was gonna kind of nail some really good ones because it's kind of hard for me because
you have multiple examples.
I have multiple of like, man, they nailed that. They nailed that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So, Another one for me personally. Now, this one isn't his most popular album, but Tyler, the Creator, his 2017 album Flower Boy, he had a double pack for his singles, which was Who Dat Boy and 911. And I personally was not a big Tyler, the Creator fan. I like some of his songs, but I just wasn't into his music as much.
Those songs made me a big fan of his.
That's when, because you know when he did F and Young on the last album, I was like, man, if he makes the album more in this lane, I will love Tyler, the Creator. I will love him. I mess with him, but I will love him. And then he came out Who Dat Boy and 911. I mean, not, I said 911, 911. Excuse me, 911. Especially, I was like, wow, this is exactly where Tyler needs to go. Exactly. And then the album was exactly like that, and it just was perfect.
It was perfect. Good. That was good.
Perfect. I love that.
Yeah. And Frank Ocean was on it too, and that was like right
Frank
after
Ocean
Blonde.
was on it.
So.
Exactly. Perfect lining up of like the stars and everything. Yeah. So yeah, that was one of them. I can give one more too if you guys just want one more.
Bro, keep them coming.
This is kind of an obvious one, but Day and Night, Kid Cudi. Like,
that was a moment.
That's like a classic right there.
That's a classic.
It just kind of, when you think Kid Cudi, you think Day and Night. Honestly, it just was perfect. It just was
You
perfect.
want to know what's sad?
What?
I was about to say as another example, Childish with This Is America. Then I remembered that wasn't on an album.
I was so. That's a disappointment. That would have been an amazing lead single.
Donald.
Where was that album?
He wants to give me a 40-minute timeline. I'm still bitter about
chill.
it.
We're still mad. Even though
it's gonna be like that album that never came out is gonna be like the Detox.
Well, kind of speaking of Childish Gambino, I'll give another example. So we go on it. 3005, I thought was a good one for because
that the lead?
I love that song.
That was the lead single. I thought it was a good one because I
love that song
because Childish Gambino, he's a good singer. I thought he was great. I thought that was a good one. I thought it really fit. I thought it really fit the narrative he was going for, and it fit in the album. I thought it was another good one. So
can I name some that I think were bad choices?
Go ahead.
I love the balance forgiving each other.
Of course.
This may be a hot take. Late Registration, Kanye West. The lead was Diamond from Sierra Leone, not the remix, the original.
Yeah, I don't think anyone listens to the original anymore.
Yeah.
If you listen to that song, you're listening to the remix. Because Jay-Z's verse is just so like iconic now.
Yeah, it's iconic.
Wait, was that an episode we did, or was that just with us when we did the verses thing? And Avery said I lost that round because I chose the.
That was an
episode. That was a test episode. We're gonna release those one day.
Take that out the vault one day.
We're gonna take them out the vault.
We can't post it on YouTube.
You know what, Nnamdi? I agree with you because he had. Let me just name the bangers he had, y'all. Late Registration.
Let us know.
Heard Him Say with Adam Levine. Oh my gosh. Touch the Sky. Gold Digger, of course.
Gone.
I'm gonna give a Slep one, okay? Addiction. I'm gonna give a Slep one. That would have been a good.
Hey Mama's on.
Hey Mama. Oh my.
Gone is one of my favorite Kanye songs.
Drop. I feel it.
He had a couple other options other than that. I think and Jay-Z wasn't even on it. The remix is on the album. That's a good point. Yeah, I agree, Nnamdi. Good song.
Thank you. And then sticking with Kanye.
He doesn't usually miss either, so.
He doesn't usually, but when he misses, I feel like he misses. Yay.
He misses.
It was Yikes, and Ghost Town was right there.
Ghost Town, yeah.
Ghost Town's right there.
Yeah, Ghost Town was never even a single, y'all.
That's crazy.
That's the best. That dang near the best song on the album, basically too.
It is. Easily.
There's only five songs, but like.
I think it's easily the best song on the album.
Yeah, but what do you got, Avery? What do you got, Avery? What do you got? Me and Nnamdi have been going back and forth of like good ones.
I think my two biggest ones were Driver's License and Lemon. I just think those are two like such perfect lead singles.
I got you.
Another one I had was Sunflower by Post Malone.
Ooh,
that was a big one.
I thought that was a Spider-Man song.
It was off Spider-Man, but then it ended up being on his album. So
good. Okay. He played his cards right. He's like, you're gonna be on a soundtrack.
Oh, and then also, I guess off of his first album, if you got what got him famous was White Iverson.
Oh,
I forgot.
That's what everybody knew. Sussin.
And then he had Congratulations after that. But yeah, White Iverson was like the big SoundCloud song.
Yeah. I got another one. This is my last one probably. I got one more. Tyrant, Kali Uchis. That one, Kali Uchis was kind of known. You always known her as like a person who was featured on like Tyler the Creator and all kinds of other music. Tyrant just hit it, and she had Georgia Smith right there. That's why I feel like they're so linked. I don't know, because of that song, and I just always think of Kali Uchis.
Together, yeah.
I'm so mad I missed that tour. I would have. Oh man.
No. This is kind of random. Do you guys know what the lead single off of Doja Cat's album was?
With the second one? Like Hot Pink, that one. I feel like I
Yeah,
liked
off
that
of Hot
too.
Pink, which had bangers.
The lead single was hold on, Keep on Stalling, we're almost there.
No, I know what it is. Guess. Can you guess?
Oh, you're asking me to guess.
Yeah, guess.
Juicy?
Juicy?
It's Juicy.
Really?
Bottom Bitch was the second one, and then Say So was the fifth one,
Golly.
Wow.
and then Streets was the
crazy.
seventh one.
Interesting.
This is how Doja Cat knows how to do a single. This is what I enjoyed what singles were when like they would stretch an album for like a year and a half and just release singles. And like
Yeah, that's
give
what
me-
she did.
Keep me like I miss those days. Now artists will do 2 singles and call it a day. Like what is
But
that?
I think that's where a problem where like, because this is what Doja Cat did. She literally listened to the TikTok crowd. Whatever TikTok was kind of pulling through or people were telling her or what fans were grabbing. Because that's the thing. I feel like some artists do not listen to their fans at all. People are telling you, guys, we love this song. Release it as a single. Put it on the radio. Sometimes there's a label. It's like, yo, we got to get the song out. We paid for this much for the sample. We got to do this.
That's very real.
Just listen to your fans. Doja Cat listens to her fans. She knows what her fans like, and she puts it out as a single, and comes hot for better or for worse. So
putting it on TikTok. So
exactly. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know. Kind of like this is something for me. Like this is something for me personally that like. I don't know, like when artists don't listen to their fans, like it's not as hard as they make it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes kind of just make music because you have fans that like your music, listen to what they like and put it out there. And sometimes artists want to be creative, which is a thing too. You know, sometimes people want to do what the fans want, and some people.
What was Barty's lead single?
It was.
Was it Boomer?
Was it Boomer? I think Boomer was it.
Wasn't that Mustang?
Oh,
It was Boomer or Mustang. It was Boomer or Mustang.
Either
Hey,
way.
bruh. Hey, bruh. Hey, bruh.
Boomer is a banger, but
Boomer's a banger
he
too.
picked a good one there. Okay, but does everyone have their artist that they think hasn't missed with the
Wait,
lead
hold
single?
on. It was Mustang. It was Mustang.
Mustang.
That was the lead.
I think actually, guys, I got one. I got one, and I think this
my
one's.
last bad one. My last bad one was on 4 by Beyonce, Who Runs the World Girls. I thought that song was very obnoxious. I was all for women's empowerment, but that was not a good lead single.
Hold on. Now, okay, I got an artist, and this is not gonna be the one. Okay, Avery, you go ahead. Does everybody have artists that they think has been killing it with their
I
lead
know.
singles?
I've been had mine. I'm ready.
I have mine.
Okay.
No.
Am I going? Who's going?
All
Oh,
right.
Avery.
Can somebody go first?
All right, I'll go. Mine's Anderson .Paak. He has Drugs off of Venice. He has The Season or Carry Me off of Malibu. He has Tints. And then King James off Ventura. And then Leave the Door
You're just naming
Open.
all the best songs. You're just naming all the
And
best
Leave
songs.
the Door Open. Those are his 5 lead singles.
Yeah, he's basically undefeated.
That's 5 for 5 right there.
Man,
I
it's
think.
Michael Jordan in the championship.
Literally.
Man,
Killing it.
I
5
agree.
straight.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Nnamdi,
No, I actually want you to go.
you want me to go? Okay. Now, I might be alone in this, and I know this artist is I'm not saying a source of contention for me and Avery, but like, not a contention, but just a particular album he didn't enjoy, and I enjoyed it a lot. Hold on. The lead singles, though.
Can I say it for you?
Who is it?
The A$AP Rocky.
Oh my gosh.
Hold on. I'm gonna tell y'all this, okay? The lead single off of Long Live A$AP was Goldie. Okay, I think that's a great song. That was his
Good
first
song.
lead single. It really got A$AP as a flashy guy. His second album, At Long Last, A$AP, Lord Pretty Flacco Jody 2. Remember that? It was on Dope. Remember it was that's another great one. And Testing, for how y'all, I don't care how y'all care about it. A$AP Forever is dope
Yeah, I
as
like
all
that
get
song.
out. That's what
I
I'm
like that song.
saying. He's
Yeah.
had good lead singles, okay?
Yeah, but I could argue on Long Live A$AP that effing Problems.
Effing Problems. That's fair. That's fair, but that was the second one. So I feel like it came out. But I feel like with the debut, it's like, okay, we got to get A$AP, a song by himself. You know, I would argue those are good lead singles for me.
That's fair. I like that. My pick is from the artist that I think has the best ear.
It's okay. It's okay.
Mine's the artist I think has the best musical ear in the music industry, who I think even she doesn't write her stuff,
Oh,
she has an uncanny ability to know a hit and put that hit on her album and release it as a lead. I don't think she's missed ever with the lead single. I don't think she has missed ever with the lead single.
my anticipation is
Any guesses on who I'm about to say?
You said she doesn't write her own
Doesn't
stuff?
write her music.
I said she may not, but it doesn't matter. She has a good ear for hits, regardless.
Man.
Okay, well, okay, I have another one who hasn't missed, but I don't think it's her if you say that.
I mean, Lady Gaga, of course, hasn't missed.
Oh.
But, well, she has missed. I'm not talking about her.
Oh,
Yeah, but Lady Gaga writes her music.
I was gonna say Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift writes her music too.
Yeah, but I think I had her in
Doesn't
my
miss.
people who've done bad stuff because I think she's made bad. Like on Reputation, I thought "Look What You Made Me Do" was the most annoying radio song. It did super well, but that song irritated the hell out of me.
Who is it?
And on 1989, I feel like she messed up too. I just don't remember.
Wait, no, who is it?
I don't know,
Who is
killed. I thought she killed on that.
Wait, what was the lead single in 1989? Do you remember?
She doesn't Shake It Off.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Shake It Off. Yeah.
That's
That was the one.
Which one was Bad Blood? Was Bad Blood on 1989 too? Or was that?
No, that was ooh, I don't know.
What was 1989? Or is it, what was Bad Blood on?
Bad Blood.
I don't know.
Nnamdi, who's yours? I have no idea who you're gonna pick.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Is that a drum roll? I'm picking Rihanna, who has never missed on a lead single since coming out of the gate. On her first album, Music of the Sun,
Ponde Replay.
I don't know that
Perfect.
was a hit. Girl Like Me, I'm pretty sure it was Umbrella, a hit. Good Girl Gone Bad.
Oh yeah.
Wait, hold on. I actually don't know what she. No. Girl Like Me was SOS, a banger. Y'all remember SOS?
Yes.
Y'all
Yes.
remember SOS?
Yeah.
Good Girl Gone Bad. It was Umbrella.
Ever since Good Girl Gone Bad, she's been on a run because like.
She was on a run before Good Girl Gone Bad.
No, I'm saying Good Girl Gone Bad after the whole Chris Brown thing. It's like her popularity and like people getting behind Rihanna of her changing her whole image was like genius.
Wait,
Seriously.
bro, I think Rated R was the one after she got.
I know, but I'm saying that her whole image changing after that of like Good Girl Gone Bad or Rated R is just incredible.
But Rated R, Russian Roulette, a personal favorite of mine. People may have mixed feelings, but that's my favorite Rihanna, one of my favorite Rihanna songs. Then she had Loud, Only Girl in the World, number one hit. Talk That Talk, We Found Love, one of the biggest songs of the century. Like she just hasn't missed. Unapologetic, Diamonds.
Diamonds.
And then with Anti,
Right, like a diamond.
we all know
Work.
Yeah, damn.
Work is a banger, y'all. Drake.
Rihanna's never missed with the lead single, and I think she's the artist that I can say that for. So that was
fair. That's fair. Very, very interesting talk. I really enjoyed it. Actually, Nnamdi, you snaps
Just
for Nnamdi.
just to confirm, Shake It Off was the lead single off 1989, and Bad Blood was on that album. That was the fourth single. So.
Got you.
Do you like that? Why she ain't come out talking shit with Bad? Why am I cursing on this vlog? Can we bleep that?
We are
Let's start here.
family podcasts.
Avery
It's
likes.
wor- you know it's worse if we bleep it.
I know
It makes it worse. Yeah, exactly. What did he say?
Horrible.
Exactly.
But no, this was a fun discussion. I love it when we think of unique topics like this and end up making an hour-plus conversation out of it. So to J. Cole, if this is your lead, we're cool, but please don't let this be your lead.
I bet this is. Well, okay, but are you gonna be mad if the two songs that came out from last year are the two lead
Yes,
songs?
because I hate it when.
But those songs are fire. Those songs are fire. We talking about heat. Those songs were heat.
Okay, but like
Climax
they're old. Like I want my anticipation of waiting this long to be rewarded.
This will all be erased in 6 days. When you have the
6
album
days.
in your
I'm like, I'm
hands.
sorry, J. Cole. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just about that meme where he's like, I'm sorry, I disappointed you.
I'm sorry there, buddy.
I let Cole down. Make my own freestyle.
Let Cole
Oh my
down.
God. Let Cole down.
Billboard highlights as well. We'll zoom through this because there's only really two things I want to shout out. On the Hot 100, Save Your Tears, we asked if we thought that Ariana Grande remix was gonna make it get to number one.
I think I said no.
I think we were all pretty like. I think I was like it could because what is it competing with?
But I think
I
I
was the
said
only
no.
one that- I was the only one that liked the song.
Yeah, you were the one that loved it. You loved it.
Yeah.
I liked it. I was just like, what was the point of this?
Yeah, I agree.
But guess
I
it's not
agree.
the point.
Oh, you see the
It's
point of
fun.
this now.
And yeah, Ariana Grande's remix got the song to number one. I believe it's both of their sixth number ones for each of them, I want to say. After 20 weeks, that did it. And I'm shocked. So that now means off of After Hours, the album that was snubbed by the Grammys, still better. The Weeknd now has 3 number one songs and I think like 5 top 10s. So,
I have a Billboard highlight for you.
sure.
Kiss Me More by Doja Cat featuring
That's
SZA is number 6.
a new
2 places higher from last week. It has it's become a pretty popular TikTok sound now.
Oh, our TikTok
Really?
correspondent.
Yep. Pretty recently, it's become a pretty popular TikTok song. So
Dope.
There you go.
Avery is Astronaut of the Ocean, a TikTok song.
That is a
I've never heard of
massive
that.
TikTok. It's
See?
okay. It's a big TikTok song because people don't like it. So people are like remixing it with other beats. It's hard to explain. It's like, and it sounds horrible, and that's why it's popular.
So it's
It's
disgustingly
like people will
awesome.
take the beginning vocals of this song and put it over a beat that makes no sense for it, and
it's
everyone will be
awesomely
like, wow,
bad.
This is trash. Yeah,
It's awesomely bad.
Hey,
And that's
Avery,
become a
scroll
problem.
down to like the top 15. Let's see if there's any other TikTok songs. Now that we have our TikTok correspondent with us. Isn't Beatbox one?
probably. I have no idea what that is.
You know?
Why does it say
Uh,
featuring Pooh Shiesty or the baby? I'm confused. What the heck does that mean? Wait,
They
what
don't
the
know?
heck? Wait, hold up, time out. Beatbox.
Oh,
Spot 'em, got 'em.
That one
Featuring-
Push Icy song is really good.
Pooh Shiesty or the baby. Do they not know?
Do you mean the one that with Lil Durk?
What's it called? Yeah, Back in Blood.
Yeah, I like that one. That's
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Do you guys expect when Olivia Rodrigo comes out with her debut album,
I think one of these is gonna go.
Deja Vu or Driver's License is gonna go back to number one?
Okay, Deja Vu only peaked at 8. I feel like it should be higher. It's a great song.
Yeah, but do you think those two are just gonna go like 1 and 2? I think it are. I think when she
Wait,
drops the debut
wait.
album,
No, I don't think they're gonna rise. I think
I
it should-
I feel like Driver's License
to-
could go up again.
I think they may go up. I would be very shocked if they went back to number one. I think
I
if
don't
she
know.
like releases a new single with the album, maybe. But
Hope so.
I'd be surprised to see.
Coming up.
It's hard to get a like old song back to number.
That should be coming up. I'm excited.
I
You
don't
know,
know.
next week we may see a Nicki Minaj song on here because the Barbs launched a campaign that all of Twitter and Twitter corporations brought into, where they're trying to get LLC back to,
Yeah.
which was a great song off her album. I'll
Yeah.
give it that. But they were trying to single-handedly, without radio promotion, get that to chart. So
Yeah.
there you go, power of fan bases. Billboard 200, Moneybagg Yo, A Gangsta's Pain went to number one. That's his first number one album ever.
Good for him.
That was pretty much that felt significant.
Why-
I feel like Moneybagg Yo doesn't normally get his credit. So I mean,
Number
You
7.
guys see
anybody?
number 7, a re-entry. It's actually surprising that it actually
How
came
did
out.
it leave?
How did it
wait,
leave
why did it come
exactly?
back?
It's After
It's
Hours
Savior
by the
too.
Weekend. Why is it back?
Yeah,
Wait, why did it ever leave this 200 list?
Yeah, that's what
Wait
I'm
a minute, hold on. Avery, scroll up. Scroll down a little bit. Top 10. Y'all know what's not here anymore?
What?
His Highlights album, which was still in the top 10.
Mm.
I'm wondering if there was like some sort of behind
Switcheroo.
Oh, it was number 22. This is weird. Why is After Hours? Oh, I know. I bet I know what it is. I bet I know what it is. They put the Save Your Tears remix on the After Hours album on streaming platforms, and
Gotcha.
therefore all the streams it got helped the album. Calling it.
Let's check.
Got you.
Calling it right now.
Oh, you're calling it like on the deluxe.
Wait, but why?
version?
How did it ever leave the 200?
It's very surprising. That is actually
That
very
is
surprising.
Interesting.
That is very interesting. Let's
It's
see.
not on the album that I'm looking at on Spotify.
Wait a second.
What's
it's
going
not.
on?
What's happening here?
You know, there's like
Interesting.
5 After Hours. Check the deluxe one. Let me see.
Yeah, there's a deluxe.
the
There's a deluxe
isn't
video.
on here, though.
Oh, it's not. What is going on?
It's not anywhere. It's by itself.
Honestly, Weeknd is basically he's damn near god level popular now. Like
No.
it's ridiculous.
I have to figure this out though. Like, I don't understand how it could go from not charting to back to number 7.
7.
Yeah. While you figure that out, let's go to projects of the week. So yeah.
Are we gonna?
Oh, Twitter chart. Oh, hold up.
There's also a new thing
Uh-oh.
to look forward to. Twitter announces partnering. You know, it's rolling out a whole bunch of new features. One of them is a content deal with Billboard, where they're creating a real-time music chart with Twitter that'll be called like, I think it's gonna be like hot, like I think it's like hot Twitter trend songs or something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's going to be a thing now.
Kind of like when you go to the music section, it's gonna be like the top trending songs type thing. If they have
Sort
it.
of. Avery, keep on going down. Right there. The Billboard Hot Trending, powered by Twitter. It'll track music-related trends and songs being discussed on the platform.
Like real time too, so it's
real
gonna be
time.
consistent.
That sounds
updating.
cool though.
That does sound cool.
So I mean, maybe the first week that's rolled out, we'll do a whole thing on it. But that seems pretty like was noteworthy.
Yeah. We should talk about that. That could be a discussion too. How Twitter or social media affects the popularity of an album or of a particular song. You know, I remember. This is not like a shot. I'm not trying to make a joke out of this, but you know, there's a famous big argument between all of us about WAP and how it did, and because of Twitter and the trending, and you know how social media affected that thing. I'm not coming at you, but I'm saying that was a big conversation. Or like, just because people were like talking about it, that mean people were going to it, and of course they were. But like, you know, it was a big conversation. So that's a conversation for later when this comes out. So yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I think we should do that. I like that. Okay, so project of the week. I'm going first. I don't know why After Hours is starting again. Next week I'll try to figure out and let you guys know, because I at this point I feel lied to.
Yeah.
I picked My Turn by Lil Baby. I think I previewed this last week and said I had 2 albums that I was considering, and I ended up going with 21 Savage last week. This week I'm going with My Turn because my little brother, who's like younger than me, and I guess more of Lil Baby's age of fan base, had been blasting this album since it came out last year.
I feel like you're 30.
Like, you know, look, 23 to
I know Nnamdi
is still pretty like
that's a generational difference to me. So
it's different. You know, like he and me, we don't listen to the same rap. So, but he's like he's been on Lil Baby for a while, and he used to try to get me to listen to it, and I was like, I'm not listening to this, you know, Lil Baby. But I'd been inspired by Lil Baby's recent features to give his album a listen, and I finally did, and I was very impressed. It's a really good album. I get why it sold so well and it was so acclaimed, and people are mad that it's not getting as much critical acclaim as it deserves, because I'm not sure there's a song on here that's bad. Plus there was like all the singles we know, like Whoa, and like what else? Some to Prove. Like there is a couple like the solid tracks on We Paid, 42 Doug. So there's enough tracks to get me listen to it. It's a good workout album. If this is what new generation rap looks like, I'm cool with Lil Baby doing that. He's from Atlanta, and you know.
You've been doing it while getting your run on.
Exactly. So, you know, it's a good album.
That's what's up. This album I picked, we've been talking about this album for the last 3 weeks. But last week was actually his first week, the full thing released now. So this thing of ours, The Alchemist, it's 8 tracks, but 4 of them are just instrumentals of the first 4 tracks. So I've just been killing it.
I love the album art. It looks like a jazz album.
Dude, this is what Alchemist does.
So
this is
nice.
It's
such a
this man
calming.
does.
It's like a calming album cover.
Yeah, it's really calming. So yeah, The Alchemist, looking forward to more music and producing he does. And speaking of The Alchemist, since he works with Benny the Butcher announced his tour. I'm going to that show in Chicago. I'm going to that show. I'm vaccinated. I'm going to that show. It's gonna happen. I don't care what people say.
You should. My project of the week
Tired
is
Avery.
an album called I'm very tired. It's called Lucid by Ravina. I just saw someone, I was scrolling through TikTok and someone was like, oh, these are like 3 underrated albums you need to listen to.
Yo, Avery really is
This was one of
TikToker.
I'm a TikTok consumer. And this album was one of them, and the song they played under it was like a really nice like R&B song. So I just checked out the album. It's pretty good. So I can't.
Is it an R&B album?
It is an R&B album. I
Check it
can't
out.
name a specific song off of it, but I will be sure to add them to the playlist.
That's an underrated part of Avery's like music repertoire. Avery got good taste in R&B. I will never forgive this man.
Wait, hold on, no, before you say what you're gonna say, because we're getting to the same thing. Leon Lahava, she released a new song and we skipped it for new release.
It's a remix. It's a remix off her.
I am never going to forgive Avery, Devin, or Devontae DeLaw. Avery, Devontae DeLaw. I would never forgive this man for leaving off, for not mentioning. I was like, bro, hey, listen to Leon Live. He's like, oh yeah, I've been listening to that. I was like, bro, this album is incredible.
I think the only regret that still exists from our top
Leon Live was not in the top 5.
Leon Live is in our top 5. She deserved it.
She
I
is incredible.
We literally discovered her the day before the episode, so we couldn't. I still think it would have been unfair, but now
you guys discovered her the day before.
Exactly.
Before
I blame Avery DeLaw. That album. Oh my gosh, Leon
Avery, go outside for a second.
I was listening to it last night. It's so good.
That girl can sing. No more man around.
What's y'all's favorite Leon LaHava song? Well, Leon LaHava's Stand Pod.
No, I think, you know what makes me feel good? Can't fight away.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
What's the one that's like?
That's the song. That song. You can't.
That's my favorite song.
No,
that or
Paper
Thin. Paper Thin's incredible.
Paper Thin. Ooh, Leon LaHava make you want to make love to a woman. I'm serious. Seriously, bro. That's the one. Hey, we're grown.
You're right. You're right.
You're grown. Oh my gosh! First of all, to be fair, it is that type of album for real.
It's a great
First off, if you're listening to this point of the pod, I'm okay with saying that to you because you are OG.
Exactly. You are OG.
My mother listens to this podcast.
She ain't gonna snitch.
Hey, Avery's mom, we care about you. We are not a bad influence on your son. Okay, Avery did not say anything.
I'm not. Some of us aren't bad influences.
So we'll be back in 2 weeks, guys. Everybody that's listening, we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Well, you don't have to tell them.
Well, yeah, but we want to give them a pair because what if they expect it and they're like, oh man,
Just know, I think the better way to say it is you'll be getting something from the vault next week.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's how I'm phrasing it in my brain.
Yeah, we have a lot of content. Yeah,
because we have some life-changing actions going on next weekend. Some life-changing events that we got to let people commemorate.
And shout out to the people who have been listening. Last month, the listeners have been crazy. I'm not lying. Nnamdi's been putting in the chat the last month.
Yeah.
Y'all have been killing it. The people out there listening. Seriously.
We're now in hundreds. It's very exciting.
Yeah, we're gonna that's like 10 people. If we did 300 of the month, 300 people listened last month. That's 10 people a day. That's pretty freaking good. Or 10 people. It's the same people listening 10 times. Fine. Who cares? Shout out to people listening, bro. We appreciate it. We're gonna review that J. Cole. It's coming.
Yes, stay tuned for that. Thank y'all for watching. Expect something from the vault next. Something from the vault next week. Week after that, we have a great review coming for you. Enjoy the playlist, and thanks for rocking with us. We'll see you next week. We'll see you when we see ya.